Welcome to The Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to The Actor's Choice. We had a little technical problem this morning. That's no problem at all. We're back on the air. My first guest today, gentlemen, is working in the entertainment industry for over 35 years. And as they say in the business, not bad, but really is a guy who loves theater. He's working on one right now called Froggy Becomes. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Pat Towne. Pat, thank you so much for being here today, and sorry about the difficulty. Tell me, okay, what do you want to raise that, sir?
Thank you for having me here. I appreciate it. I'm having to use my phone. My laptop got screwed up. Anyway, hello. Thanks for having me here.
No problem. It's good to hear. Where were you born at, sir?
Where's I born?
Yep. Okay.
Hello. Oh, here I am. Oh, my God. See, this is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Okay. Sorry about that. Jeez. Okay. Hello. Yes, I was born in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay. But you spent a little time in Chicago?
Spent a lot of time in Chicago. Yeah. That's where I moved to start the profession. Yes.
For a gentleman what drew you into theater when it was like when you come up in Chicago?
It was a great time in Chicago because I was there. I came in the late '80s and early '90s, and there was a boom time in Chicago at the time. They still had the International Theater Festival, which I saw a lot of shows for that. And Wolf had just right when I got there, they had won their first Towne, I think, for Grapes of Wrath, and so they were on the market. It was just a vibrant, wonderful time to be in Chicago doing theater then. And that's when early on in 1989 is when the Unoyan Theater, at a theater I helped to begin in Chicago. Still there today.
You're working right now on a premiere production called A Froggy Becomes. Tell us about it.
Yes, Froggy Becomes, written by Becky Wallstrom, my friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine I've known her for almost as long as I've been in Los Angeles.
Yes.
It's a sweet, lovely little story about a 7th grade girl named Bumpy Diggs.
Uh-huh.
And she has a hell of a life. She has a ogre for a father. Literally, they just call him Ogre. And the father figure is played by this giant ogre puppet. And she has nobody will help her. Her mom's delusional and having an affair with a priest, and she just wants to get out and live her life the way she wants to live it. But right now she's stuck at home, and she's got this big science fair project that she has to do, and nobody's going to help her with it. So it's a play about a little girl, but it's more about a human being trying to decide for themselves how they want to live their life, rather than leaving it up to the other people to make them happy.
All right. You're the director. What excites you the most about this play?
Well, I just love the spirit of it. I was saying that to Becky that it's been a tough time. I know it has been for everybody, but with COVID and everything. But I've had that compounded with age and friends of mine who have either passed away or they have left town. COVID was a part of that. So I've been feeling a lot of loss lately. My 2 kids are out of the house now, so there's that time in life. And I feel a lot of loss, and part of it where I felt defeated. And when I read Becky's play a few years ago, it drew me out. And because of the end of the play, our character looks to the audience and says, what are we going to do? Are we just going to sit there and let other people try to make us happy? Or are we going to do it for ourselves and fight like ninjas? And I have taken that theme and the promise of and the hope of the play to heart, literally in my own life, as I have had any number of things where I could have just given up and happened to me that I could given up and not embraced life as fully as I would like to.
Okay. How can people get tickets?
Ticket to openfist.org, O-R-G. That's all you have to do. You can follow the links, and it'll show you how. And we run through April 14th, I believe.
Okay. And what's the location of the theater?
It's at Atwater Village Theater, and the address is, because I just kind of drive there now, it is 3269 Casillas Avenue in Atwater Village, at the Atwater Village Theater. And it plays Friday and Saturdays at 8 and Sundays at 7.
Well, Pat, thank you very, very much for being here today. Wish you the very best in what you're doing as you continue with this play and future projects. As they always say, break a leg.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And please thank your publicist, Susan D.
Yeah.
Good lady.
Thank you, Susan. I will for sure.
Okay. This is the Access
And again,
Show.
apologies for the technical.
Never even heard of it. These are technical difficulties. Okay. This is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Roller Tony. Well, I'd like to let you know that we're asking our Texas squad to help us get former baseball player Curt Flood into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Now, Curt passed away January 20th, 1997. He was the husband of one of our wonderful guests, renowned actress, Judy Pace. What you got to do is give us a call, 213-349-3941. That's 213-349-3941. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, we sincerely thank each and every one of you for being a part of this magnificent award for a great baseball player. Okay? Roller Tony. I want to thank our people for a number of requests that we've been getting for flyers, postcards, business cards, and other collaterals. To streamline the process, we kindly request that you visit our request page and submit your requests, including those on-site appears. Okay? Link www.theactorschoicela.org /requests. That's www.theactorschoicela.org/requests. Okay? Okay. Thank you. Roller Tony.
Put your finger in the hole. All I did was ask my grandmother. That's nonna to me for a frittata. That's like an omelet in Italian. And now I had my finger up a chicken's ass. I'm trying to feel around for an egg. You go see the Pope, see what he think about his shoulders. Dear God, I am here to work as an actress. Please help me find an agent.
Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest today, at an early age, her grandfather asked her or showed her how to read and to perform. Now, she took that to the stage, performing in numerous school plays and talent shows. As time went on, she landed some high-profile commercials. Later, this lady met an Italian film crew who encouraged her to take her talent to Italy, and that's what she did, and the rest is history. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome actress, additional crew, and ask her what additional crew is, because I like to see that one, and a producer, Dina Morrone. Greetings, Dina, and welcome to the Actor's Choice.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, wouldn't have it any other way, my dear. I see you had a marvelous biography. I mean, when I read it, I went, what? This lady's got 72 additional crew, 42 actress, 6 producer. Yeah, she's doing good, folks.
The additional crew is interesting. It's voiceover.
Yes.
I do a lot of voiceover, and they list it on feature films as additional crew.
Yes.
But it's you're working on the movie. You're lending your voice to either a voice replacement, or you're doing background voices, or when you hear those announcements on the airplane, or there's a person doing that on a stage somewhere, creating all the background voices, and it's listed as additional crew. Sometimes it's listed as voiceover, or the voice of, if it's a video game, or if it's animation, it will be listed as a character or but most of the time it's just listed as additional crew.
I hear something very interesting in my ear. Your voice is beautiful. That's a gift from God, really.
Oh, thank you so much. I do award shows as well. I announce different awards shows, so I'm the announcer of the award show.
Is that right?
I had 3 last weekend for the ACE Awards, the American Cinema Audio Society, the Eddies, the MPSEs. So there are sound awards and editing awards. They're all leading up to the Oscars. So it's the various guilds. It would be like doing the voice for the SAG Awards.
Okay.
Each different branch of the Academy has their own awards show, and I do 3 of them.
Speaking of the Oscar, how'd you think? What did you think about it last night?
Well, I was there in the seventh row. I was present last night in the room in the seventh row at the auditorium. So I have to tell you, I saw it live because I was there, and then I saw it recorded on television. I came home and I watched it, and it's a different feeling. It's a really different energy live. Some things are more positive live, and some are more positive on screen.
Yes.
I loved being able to see people up close and things that were happening up close, because you don't get to see them even in the seventh row. You're not up close.
Nope.
And but the vibe in the room when Ryan Gosling did his number, I'm Just Ken, it brought the house down. And it was one of those moments. I've been there several times now to the Oscars, and this was one of the times that was a memorable moment. It was a lot of fun. Pluses and minuses, like I said, for in person and on TV.
Jimmy Kimmel was alive last night.
He was live.
I like when he talked about what? Maybe he made that comment about Trump. Everybody fell out.
That was funny. That was a real tweet, by the way. Yeah,
Yes.
I heard it was a real tweet.
Thank goodness. It was, I really enjoyed what it was. I sat there and watched it because I can remember in years gone by, I was a reporter and I would be there at the studio. I mean, at the actual event itself. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, the food is everywhere. I mean, the people have a lot of party. It's good and bad. It's wonderful.
The governor's party afterwards
Yes.
has so much food. I was thinking about that this morning, and I thought, wow, that's a lot of individual little plates, because everything's on an individual plate. They don't have a buffet. It's like, so how many little plates did they have to bring there? Those little tiny plates.
1,275.
But it was wonderful. There was just one thing that I've been reading a lot on social media, and I just, it's every year people complain about the in memoriam.
Yes.
And I have to say, being there live, watching the in memoriam, and knowing of several people, personal good friends that were in the in memoriam, was very emotional.
Yes.
And to hear Andrea Bocelli singing, and to hear the instruments playing, musicians. But I have to say that it plays very differently at home. And so when you are at home watching it, you're like, oh, I can't really see the person, but live you see it all because you're right there.
Yes.
And then a lot of people complain that this person wasn't in and this person wasn't in, and it's really hard to explain this to people, but there isn't just one branch of the Academy, the actors. Mm-hmm. They have all these branches. Think about a family member whose father is a cinematographer and passed, that nobody knows that person's name, but that person won an Oscar maybe.
Thank you.
But he's not famous. Don't you think that family wants their father in? They have all these branches, and they can only pick so many people from each branch to be. The actors already have the largest group up there. People are like, they didn't put this actor in and that actor in, but they have the SAG Awards, and they have the Emmys for all the TV people. These are people that either were nominated for an Oscar or won an Oscar. And then there are other people that, let's just give you an example, casting people or agents and managers, big executives. Those are all people that made a difference in the Academy.
Yes.
There's those departments too that aren't even branches in the Academy. So anyway, it's just kind of sad, because I feel for anybody whose loved one got left out, but it's not out of disrespect. They just don't have 2 hours to put everybody's name up there.
When are you going to start a campaign? Card. When are you going to start a campaign to get people, hey, give them their rights, give them their rights? I mean, because when the big people stood on there, they could talk as long as they want, but the little people, right, it could, okay, you got 30 seconds, that's it.
45 seconds, you're off, yeah.
Right,
I have to say, the speeches last night, there wasn't a single person that went off on a long speech. It was really lovely. Even all the actors, they kept it really, really modest and short. It was very different. And it came in under 3.5 hours.
I just like the naked guy streaking through that.
I was 7 rows back.
Oh, that was too much. Let's go back to your crew, madam. What made you get into acting?
Well, it started when I was a little girl, because my grandfather was a real joker and a lot of fun. And we used to put on what we used to call talent shows. They weren't talent shows. They were just us getting up and putting on little shows and getting dressed up with him. He would dress up in a dress or something funny, put a hat on. And we were encouraged to perform and sing in front of people whenever we could. So we did that. But then life takes you on a different path because my parents didn't see that as a life career. They saw that as just playing fun. So I went into something else. I went into fashion and business. And then I came around and eventually got back into what I wanted to do. And then I moved to Italy and worked in Italy for many years in acting and moved to LA and started doing voiceover and got involved in a theater company, Theater West. And that's what brings me to where I am today. And this piece that I'm doing on March the 24th for celebrating Women's History Month. It's called My Uterus, a Womb with a View. And it is I do solo pieces and solo shows and write plays. It's very funny. It's very bold and it's very courageous. I will say that it was born quite some time ago. No pun intended. It was born quite some time ago, working on it at the theater and bringing it back and workshopping it. And then it went nowhere. And I tossed it out and I said, oh, I'm not doing this. It's too personal. There's personal stuff in here. And I tossed it out. And then something happened with I guess, women's rights being turned over after so many years. And I said, you know what? I think it's time I bring this back. I think it's time I work on this. And I took it out and I just started pulling the pieces I wanted in it. And now it's a 1-hour piece and I'm doing a staged reading, a little bit more than a staged reading. And it will be on March the 24th at 2 p.m. at Theater West.
All right.
And it's very courageous and bold, but like I said, funny and timely.
Now, how did the idea of this show come to be?
Well, years ago, I just started putting little stories together of opinions. Let's call them rants about certain things. Mm-hmm. And they were just individual rants, monologues. And I said, gee, I have something here. So it didn't grow from, I'm going to write a show about this. It grew from just these stories. And when I had all these stories, I decided to start putting them together as a show. And that's where the idea came from. It was just personal rants and opinions I had about the uterus and women's rights and, who owns it and what religion is it? And, why we are saddled with so much responsibility when we have one. It's a lot of questions, but it digs deep into who I am, who I really am, who my ancestors were, where we really came from. But it's universal. Yes. And I did a reading for the company about a year ago. And what I loved was that the male response was as strong as the women's response. In fact, I was quite blown away by what men had to say. It was very powerful because it's not a yay women piece. It's a little different than that.
Inspiration?
It's inspirational and it makes you think.
Danger. Warning.
Warning. You're going to think.
Right. How long have you been working on it?
Well, the actual time that I've been working on it, on this particular piece that is up now, in this, let me see, probably close to maybe a year and a half, 2 years. But like I said, I started it years ago by just writing these monologues. But the actual piece I'm performing, it's been about a year and a half that I just said, that's it. I'm doing this. I'm putting it together and it's done. But I had all the pieces written and I had to just flush them out.
See, nice. Now you mentioned Theater West.
Yes, Theater West is a company that I'm a member of and have been for 22 years. They are a company of actors it started in 1962, and we've been at our location since, I think, about 50 years. They took over this space, And I've been there for 22, and I develop a lot of my stuff on Tuesday nights, the writer's workshop, and then we have acting workshop and musical workshop. I don't sing, so I don't really attend the musical workshop, but we have a wonderful moderator. We have Shakespeare, and we do plays and festivals. It's it's a full family of theater members.
Wow, that's 20 years.
I've been there, yeah, but they've been around for a long time, and we still have some members that have been around for 40 years. God bless them, yeah.
People who listen to the show, they know what I'm about to ask you, and that is, I have a thing that I have about actors and actresses. We get a lot of them. They come out here to LA. I want to be a star. Okay, that's fine. But they get in there. They do film. They do television, but they don't do no stage. They don't do that.
No, stage is when I'm on stage doing a solo, one of my pieces, like, I'm free. I'm liberated because I'm just speaking to you, the audience sitting in front of me. And the responses are immediate, as any solo artist will tell you. And whether you're stand-up, whether you're a singer, and theater is like that. It's immediate, it's visceral, you're living it, you're breathing it while it's happening live. And it's a pretty amazing thing to feel. And you're not doing one line and then you're doing a take. You're just plowing through it.
Yeah.
You got to do it. Like, you can't, you just have to be present. And it's not that easy. I did parts in movies and parts in TV. And I remember working on a couple of lines that I'd had to memorize.
Uh-huh.
And I had to be there for the casting person. And then I had to go to the director. And it was like 4 lines. And I had to work so hard to get those 4 lines out. And then then they cut it and you have 1 line left in the movie. And I'm like, I have so much more to say than that 1 line. Sir, your table is ready. It's like, this isn't for me. I just, I want
got paid, didn't you?
I got paid. And that was the beauty of it. It was so wonderful to get that check. But that's why I love voiceover. I get paid. But the theater is so immediate, and you're just creating by yourself in this dark room, and you're working on your story and your piece, and it's real acting. It's like you're really you're in it.
Yes. Back to the show again. Why is this show important to both men and women?
Oh gosh, because it's a timely piece, and it makes you think. And it makes you question things about yourself, decisions you've made about yourself on different topics, like religion, like your own rights. It's hard to explain without giving anything away, so I don't want, but it makes you question a lot of your own decisions. And it makes you think, oh, and what else it does is it exposes things I say things about myself that are personal, and it opens it up for people to not feel so ashamed, or to feel like, oh wow, she just shared that. Okay, I'm okay. That happened to me too. But it is, like I said, for men and women.
My goodness, what do you want your audience to take away from this show?
Wow. The power of your voice, the power of speaking up, the power of owning who you are, and of sort of standing up for what is right.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting. Comedy for a serious subject?
It's a comedy for serious subject.
Yes.
It is very much a comedy. Yeah.
Wow.
But like any comedy, there's always the arc of something in it. You can't have a comedy, a piece that's an hour, without some arcs of emotions that aren't just laughter. Otherwise, it's stand up. You know, stand up. That's what's so wonderful about stand up. I want to go and just laugh. I don't want to be. I don't want to be brought down. But in theater, you're there's the arc. You know, you're laughing. You're hearing something that's a little bit more emotional. It's a little bit of a roller coaster wave.
Okay. You write and publish Moon on the Loose.
Yes, my play Moose on the Loose was produced at Theater West back in 2011. And then there was a reboot of it this past year, well, 2023, in April and May at Theater West.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There's another question I have that I know you like it. It's called the what's that? The Italian in Me.
In Me.
In Me.
Yeah, that's a solo show that I do based on my time living in Italy and an encounter with Federico Fellini, the maestro, and it has been really like it's been a part of me for so long. And once again, it's like that tragic comedy. You know, there's comedy in it. There's stuff that feels a bit tragic, but it's stuff that you've lived. And so when you're in your own life, living your life, and you're trying to create what you're creating as an artist, there are going to be moments that are not great. When you're living them in the moment, you cry, you're upset. Why did this happen to me? And then you step back from it and you suddenly start to realize when you're speaking about it or you're writing it, that it's kind of funny now because you're not in it anymore. And that's how that show started. I started writing about things that happened. And then suddenly I thought, oh my gosh, this is really funny if I use a different voice for it rather than, you know, I'm removed from it now. It doesn't mean anything anymore that I didn't get that part. Now I'm laughing at it.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun, that show.
I see you broadcast Who I Am for Black History Month.
Yes, I did that a few years ago during the pandemic. We were trying to do something for Black History Month, and it was impossible to bring people together from, you know, so we brought them together in a show that we did on Zoom, and it was edited by Clara Rodriguez, one of our members. She did a beautiful job of putting it all together. I found the actors. I gave them, you know, instruction of what we had to do, and it's a beautiful piece. It's still available on our YouTube channel at Theater West. And it doesn't matter that it was done a couple of years ago. It is timely. It's about the African-American experience seen through the eyes of these different incredible artists that are on there, that some were members and some were not, and telling their story and why Black History Month was important to them and why it is important to them.
Yes. My goodness. As you look at your career, you look back at your career, what are some of the good things that you've done in that career?
I guess some of the people that I met and some of the experiences I had just through travel, working in Toronto, coming from a small town in Thunder Bay where I started doing all these things, and very remote up in Northern Ontario, Canada, on the border of Minnesota. And in Toronto, starting it all there, some wonderful people along the way, some icons, and I mean icons, like real icons in the world of cinema, meeting them and working with some of them. And then the experience of doing this in Italy, in my parents' homeland, and I'm an Italian citizen. And so that was then moving here and just finding this wonderful, you know, community for voiceover and then for this theater family. So these are all highlights of the people that I've met along the way.
And that's one of the things that I see that I mean, you look at the technology and all the other things that we have now that we didn't have back in those days. What do you think of AI?
Well, I think that like everything that is new, it's very scary. But I love the idea of AI for medicine and science.
Okay.
I think it's wonderful. I think we've made advancements in the world of science and technology with AI. It's really sad because I do voiceover and I know that AI one day will take over voiceover.
Yes.
It'll probably take it over. And I'm happy that I had a chance to work all these years in voiceover. I know that there will be plenty of work in AI for actors and extras. I feel bad for people who are extras. They're not going to need them anymore. They're just going to put AI people in. I hope that doesn't happen, but I do see it going in that direction. I really hope that we're able to keep putting a stop on it, but it's just so hard. I mean, you look at people online now, there are images of celebrities that are AI and you think it's them saying those things. And how do you stop that? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very scary for me.
I asked that question for some people. Some people think it's good. Some people don't think it's good.
Yeah. I just think that it's great. And I've been to events where they, had like doctors and scientists speaking, and I see how AI can really help that. But I know people who write with AI. I know people who just speak into their phone and tell the subject they want to write, and then it just writes it all out for them. And I'm mortified and horrified.
Yes.
Like, oh my God, I'm sitting here writing something funny and I'm writing for, this magazine. I also write for a magazine, and I'm writing and people just like do that. It's like, that's AI. It's not.
Okay.
It's not a creative process.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
And people always try to find a way to make more money. And when I see these developments, I say to myself, why? Some people might say, why? That's why. But I want to know, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's AI in everything. There's just, it's everywhere. We love some of it. We don't realize it's AI, but it's out there.
Let me take you back to a few years ago, like 1983. And there was this movie that you worked in called Endgame Bronx Slaughter Finale. You
know what? Somebody else asked me about that movie, and I did not work on that.
Right. You didn't?
No, but that's so crazy. I have a few credits on IMDb that I did not do. There's one, like a horror film. I did not do it. And and another one that I wasn't even like old enough to be working, and it's on my credits. I do not know how to take these credits down. I think I have 2 or 3 of them on there. Wow. And I don't think there's another Dina Morrone. No, there's no one else with my name. I've looked on IMDb who is an artist, a performer. I've found someone that plays lacrosse somewhere in Connecticut who's a lot younger with red hair, but nobody. And there are these credits that are up there. I'm like, I have no idea how those got up there.
Yes.
Isn't that crazy?
Isn't that crazy?
In 83, I wasn't even acting yet.
Got you.
I was still in university.
All I can say is IMDb. They did say uncredited for that particular event.
And I wasn't around. I was still studying fashion design.
Dina, I want to thank you for being here today at Actors Church. We had a great, solid career that you have with much, much to do. And thank you so much. Your publicist, of course, my good friend, Philip Sokoloff.
He's lovely and wonderful, and I'm grateful for him. And for Theater West, thanks him too.
Best wishes to you, my dear.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
This is the Actors Church. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Roll it, Tony. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, for more information about the Tech Real Cool channel, please call us at 213-349-3941. That's 213-349-3941. Okay? All right, we have a guest that was supposed to be coming on the line here in a few moments here. I'm getting a word that he's not going to be coming. Okay. This gentleman is an inventor since he started at the age of 10. He liked to play music, was doing real good at doing that. But one day he had a dream that changed his whole life. So, and we want to tell you about it. He had what he called the two drum, which is about a Congo drum that's something that he did. So just want to at least put his name out there. His name is Jimmie James. We've been around for there. Look at him. There's a copy of him. Thank you, man. Thank you. He knows a lot. Can you go to the next one? The collage. Now there he does all kind of work in this. He's a photographer. He works as he does this, he does that. So he's a busy man. He works a lot. There's the setup. He had a two drum setup that he does. This gives a chance to tell you about. I wish he was here so he could tell us about this. But he's looking for Black Inventors Award Show. You see pictures that he has right there. Can you go to the next one? In sequence, that's Carmelita Pittman. Hey, that's a good friend of mine. She's a broadcaster. She's on right now. Well, she comes on the same day and just a little bit before we on. I've known this lady for a long. Carmelita Pittman is her name. She's been around for a long time. That's our podcast. You can see the guy and where he was getting his pictures taken. Okay, what we call radio boomers. That's what we are, boomers. Okay. There's a picture of the gentleman with a lady named Diane E. Watson. That lady, Diane Watson, is a wonderful, wonderful lady. I've known her for a long time. She's been a congressperson. She's been an ambassador. She's done a lot of work in the years. She's just a marvelous, marvelous lady. The next picture. There's our gentleman, Jimmie James, with singer Dionne Warwick. So he does meet a lot of people. Things are going on. Okay. Next one, sir. There's a copy of him with the picture that he's got there and some of the things that he's done. So we can say, hey, this is what you do to get it. And one more, last, the distinguished award that he got. Jimmie James wins Award of Distinction. Okay. Well, given that, my friend, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank our sponsors. Harvey Brandman, Photography is an Art. Ron Irwin's Lose Life, The Way to Lose Weight. Larry Buford's book To the Future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule. State Farm agent Carla Green and veteran actor Rob Brownstein's Actor Training Facility and Actor Space. Much thanks for our guest today. Actor, director, Pat Towne. Additional crew, actress, producer, Dina Morrone, and inventor, musician, Jimmie James. The Actor's Choice is a presentation, ladies and gentlemen, of B&B Productions. Rudolph Brewington, my twin, is the president, and Sydney Chandler is our executive producer. Special thanks for our ever-growing audience. I'm Ron Brewington. Be well. See you again.